So welcome to our gentle yoga class. This is a mat class. If you are somebody who doesn't feel comfortable getting down onto the floor and back up from the floor, maybe explore our chair yoga class, or do what we're doing today in a chair if that would feel better for you. So our class today is going to focus on poses that will hopefully target a lot of the muscles, and there are many, that we use for the act of breathing. And this will help us just have more easeful, better breathing, to use these muscles, to become aware of these muscles. Hopefully we can support better lung function and reset the nervous system. So that's my goal for the class, and some of you have come in with various issues that you've told me about, so I'm going to try to weave those in. Please just listen to your body as you move through this session, whether you're feeling depleted today from lack of sleep, or you have an issue that depletes you in some way. You don't have to push to your full range. So I'll give you a lot of cues like that to be gentle. That's why we call this a gentle practice. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you my transition to a seated posture on the ground. Maybe you're already there, but I find it really useful to make sure that I am getting down onto the floor safely. You guys can hear me okay? All right. So I might take note of a piece of furniture and use that to get down onto the floor safely. So I might just bend my knees a little bit, nice flat back, place my hand on my piece of furniture, drop one knee down, drop the other knee down, and come to sit in our easy pose. Maybe it's not easy for you, but hopefully through practice we'll get used to sitting on the ground. It's very good for our core muscles. Another thing you can do is find a support to sit on. Maybe that's a blanket or a yoga block or pillow. And you can just come up onto the edge of that to lift the pelvis above the knees. And if you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason with the crisscross applesauce seated style, you could fold the knees underneath, and that might also be a little bit challenging. So you could come up a little higher, maybe you have 2 blocks or 2 pillows. So those are some options. I want to start in a seated posture to just bring some awareness to the breath. So see how it feels to sit. Maybe you want to rest your hands down at the sides. Maybe you want to close the eyes. And just take a moment to arriving in whatever state of being you're in. You're welcome here. I'm going to explore 5 breaths, just noticing as I breathe in through the nose, how that feels. Maybe I breathe out through the mouth, how that feels. Easy breaths in and out. Letting my shoulders relax, letting my jaw relax. And just bringing my mind to my breath, to my body. Taking those easeful breaths, a couple more. Very good. So I'm going to take my hands, interlock the thumbs, and rest my palms on my chest. And this is a mudra called Garuda Mudra, named for the eagle-like creature it represents. So it's fierce protection and loyalty. And this allows me to feel contained in my self-care space. And I might just rest my hands here, or I could flap one wing at a time and in sort of a comforting bilateral movement that can help bring you into a safe space. So I've got my Garuda Mudra. Maybe it's still, maybe I'm tapping one hand at a time, and I'm just taking some breaths here. So we'll be using this mudra throughout the class. I want to see how it feels here at the beginning. And then with the Garuda resting, so the thumbs are interlocked, and I've got my hands resting on my chest. Pectoralis muscles are right underneath, and those are in fact used for breathing. Also the neck muscles, believe it or not, are used for breathing. So I'm going to bring a little awareness to my neck muscles by tilting my head from side to side. I'm breathing into center, breathing out to the other side. Inhaling center, exhaling other side. A couple more neck tilts here, just moving at your own pace. Dropping one ear towards one shoulder and the other ear, other shoulder, you've got it. And it could be a very subtle, small movement. Very good. We'll come back to center, open the wings, and lift the arms up as far as feels good to you. Maybe it's one arm higher than the other. Take a breath in here. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to the right, twisting to the right. It's a small twist. Breathing in, hands rise center. Exhale, small twist, hands coming down to the left. So this is our little twist flow. We'll do a couple more. Breathing in, center. Breathing out, right. Breathing in, center. Breathing out, left. Inhale, arms rise, and this time I'll just bring my hands down to heart center just for a moment, resting my hands on my breastbone, closing my eyes, and just planting a seed of intention for today's class. I am breathing. Just saying that internally in your own mind's eye and your own heart space, planting that seed. I am breathing. Very good. Well, let that go. I'm going to wiggle down off my support and actually come to rest on my back. So coming to a reclining posture. If you're somebody who needs a little bit of neck support, you could place a pillow under the head for the start of our short reclining section. So get yourself comfy on the earth with the knees bent and the feet on the floor, about hips width distance apart, and my hands are just resting on my belly. And what I'm going to do is press my low back down into the earth gently, and then lift up away from the earth, accentuating the lumbar curve. So my hips are staying down on the earth as I do these pelvic tilts, pressing down, lifting up. It could be a very small, subtle movement, but just saying hello to my pelvic bowl, saying hello to my lower back. And we use actually some of the muscles in the abdominal area, way deep abdominal muscles and lower back muscles are attached to the diaphragm, which is the muscle we use most for breathing. So accentuating that lumbar curve, flattening the lumbar curve, and maybe bringing the breath into it, inhaling as you lift up away, feeling that belly, exhaling, pushing down, getting all the air out. Just a couple more. And then I'll drop my arms out to the sides, palms facing up if that would feel okay. I'll walk my feet out to the width of my mat and just drop both knees to the same side, doesn't matter which side, and it doesn't have to go all the way. Washing the knees to center and to the other side. Maybe you can feel this in those deep lower back muscles and the hip flexor muscles, all tied together with our fascia, our tendons, and all a part of the breathing pattern. So washing the knees from side to side, saying hello to the psoas muscles, those big giant hip flexors that attach from the lower back down to the hip and the femur. Flowing from side to side. 1 or 2 more times. And then I might just go ahead and hug my knees into my chest and rock from side to side, massaging my lower back. And then I'll plant my feet on the earth, hip width distance apart. Take away any neck support you might have, right? So just want that base of the skull resting on the earth. And I'm going to drive my upper arms down into the earth with my elbows bent. So I call this my robot arms, fingertips towards the ceiling. And as I drive my arms down, I'm going to lift my hips up just a little bit off the earth and then let them come back down. So I'm breathing in, driving the arms down, lifting the hips, breathing out. So just little bridge pulses saying hello to the spine. And I might take 1 or 2 more bridge pulses. Again, you don't have to go as far as possible, just kind of exploring this. And then setting yourself down gently. I'm going to lift my feet up off the earth, keeping my shins parallel with the earth, pressing my low back down into the earth just a little bit so I can really feel the core engagement. And then I'll lift my arms straight up to the ceiling, plugging those shoulders back. So I'm like a little baby lying on my back, reaching up for the mobile. This is also called dead bug, so nicely describing it. From here, I'm going to extend my opposite arm, opposite leg without hitting the floor, and then reset back to neutral. Switching sides, so you can really feel this is an excellent way to strengthen the core muscles, the back muscles. And that might be better for some of us who have tender wrists and don't want to do the bird dog version of this. So I'm just flowing, extending with my breath. 1 more on each side. And then hugging the knees in. And gently rolling onto one side, walking myself up, coming onto hands and knees. Actually, I'm going to face this way. Coming onto hands and knees and bringing those palms right underneath the shoulders. If you have tender wrists, you might point the fingers out to the sides. If you have tender knees, you might take a blanket underneath the knees. We won't be here too long. And I'm just going to make a circular movement with my torso. My hands and my knees and the tops of my feet or the toes supported by the earth as I move my whole body in a circle, saying hello to my wrists, my elbows, my shoulders, my hips, my knees. And I'm going to keep my chin sort of tucked down, maybe looking at the top of my mat, as opposed to jutting the chin out. and putting extra pressure on the neck. Flowing in the other direction. Flowing with the breath. I am breathing. Just welcoming any kind of natural movement into this circle. Maybe you can feel the spine moving, arching and rounding just a little bit, the pelvic bowl tipping forward, tipping back. And gradually we'll come to a neutral posture and just let the belly sink. Maybe you can imagine a tail that lifts up, and maybe we can lift the chin a little bit here, unless that exacerbates any neck issues. Right? So here I am in my cow shape. And then I'll slowly pull the belly button in and tuck my chin. And I'm going to avoid aggressive rounding in my back if I have severe osteoporosis. And I'm just going to toggle back and forth between these two shapes, the extension of the spine and the flexion of the spine. So rounding and arching. I am breathing. And just making this as natural as possible for you. You got it. Coming to neutral, I'm going to separate my knees nice and wide. Maybe the toes touch. I'll see how it feels to gently walk myself back, maybe sitting down on my heels if the knees will allow, and walking my hands forward for child's pose. Maybe I just rest my forearms on the earth. Maybe I can take a pillow, blanket, or block underneath my forehead. Or maybe my forehead can touch the earth. And in my child's pose, I'm going to bring my awareness to the back of the body. And of course, modify this however feels good for you. And I'm breathing into the back of the body, all of that area, surface area of the lungs, unencumbered by the heart, at the back of the body, breathing into the back, almost as if I could feel my wings expanding, my imaginary wings. And then when you're ready, you can crawl out of child's pose carefully. And if this would feel okay, I'd love for you to try coming down onto the belly with the elbows underneath the shoulders in Sphinx pose. I'm not putting a lot of pressure in my hands here, but I might kind of imagine that I'm pulling myself forward using my forearms. So I'm kind of engaging my upper back a little bit. So you can feel this, working of the upper back. My chin could be level with the earth. And I'm going to engage my legs here by lifting my kneecaps up and pressing my pubic bone down into the earth. Big breath in. And then exhale, let yourself rest. Maybe it's one cheek to the mat. Maybe you want to create a pillow with the forearms. Maybe you want to take the toes out to the sides for crocodile pose. And once again, I'll invite you to become aware of the breath. And maybe you can feel the breath in the belly, pushing the belly into the earth. And letting it all soften on the exhalation. Taking 2 more breaths here in this rest pose. Very good. I want to bring my hands underneath my shoulders and see if I could begin to push myself up onto my hands and knees. I'm not in any hurry. I'm going to see how it would feel actually to balance on my knees. And I might just take my fists and run them along my low back. A lot of us coming in with low back pain, low back tenderness. I might just squeeze my elbows together a little bit, lift my heart, feel that openness across the chest. So this would be a version of a camel pose here. And then when you're ready, friends, maybe you crawl yourself towards a piece of furniture, rest the hand on that furniture, and bring one foot up. Tuck the back toe under and come to stand. However you want to come to stand. Really nice, Diana. A very mindful approach to standing. All right, how are you guys doing? Okay? A little sip of water. All right, 2 thumbs up from Daniel. So I'm coming into a standing posture here with my feet just a tiny bit wider than hip distance apart. I'm going to let my arms relax down at my sides and keeping my head pointing forward. Just really let those arms be like rubber. I'm going to move my torso from side to side and let my arms swing. My gaze stays forward. So I'm getting a little bit of a neck stretch here. I'm getting some rotation in my spine, and you can feel this all the way down into the hips. This windmill. So let the arms, don't let the, just let the effort relax from the arms. So I'm not generating any effort from the arms. The effort is generated from my torso itself. And the arms just swing on along, and maybe they hit the front of the body, the back of the body. Head pointing forward, keeping the breath flowing. And this is a wonderful way to just wake up. Wake up the spine. All right, so just standing windmills. And then we're going to come back into that Garuda Mudra. So I'm going to hook my thumbs together and place my hands on my chest. And this is that, fierce, protective energy and a space for me to breathe into my hands here. I'm going to sink down into my knees just a little bit. Bring my hips back. Sinking down a little bit lower for chair pose. Pull the belly towards the spine. And then I'm coming out of my chair pose, opening my wings. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good. Coming back to Garuda Mudra, maybe the opposite hand on top, sinking down into your chair. Inhale, open. Exhale, sink down, interlock. Breathing in, opening wide. Breathing out, opposite hand on top, if that would feel okay. Sinking down. And we'll do 2 more. And then we'll come up to stand, bringing the hands down at the sides. So now we're going to do a very, very gradual tiptoe float. I'm going to come up onto my tiptoes and bring my arms up just a tiny bit and float right back down. I'm inhaling, lifting a little higher, exhaling, floating back down. Finding a place to gaze that's maybe not the monitor. And lifting up onto my tiptoes, wings lifting a little higher each time. Floating up, floating down. Maybe the arms come above the shoulders or just one arm above the shoulder. And eventually we're going to reach all the way up with the arms, maybe the palms facing forward. And then as we come down, this time we'll sink into the knees, the arms can cross in front. Inhale, lift the tiptoes, lift the arms. Exhale, sink down, float your way down. 2 more full tiptoe floats. And last one. I am breathing. Coming back to stand. And let's reach one arm up. Maybe it's the right arm. Like I'm reaching for an imaginary rope. I might even come up onto my tiptoes and then sink down onto my tiptoes. Let that left arm be like rubber. So I'm really stretching the side body, all those little muscles in between the ribs that are used in the act of breathing in, breathing out. And then we'll switch sides, lifting the left arm up, tiptoe lift, reach for the imaginary rope, sink back down and let that right arm really relax. Maybe you're leaning over to that right side a little bit. So we'll do one more on each side, lifting up for that imaginary rope. You got it. Switching sides to the left side one last time. And then releasing from here. Okay, so let's step the right foot forward and the left foot back at an angle. I'm sinking into my right knee for warrior 1 foot stance. My hips are facing forward for this. I have a nice wide base, so I don't feel too wobbly here. And I'm going to imagine that there are levers coming up out of the ground right in front of me, as right where my my arms end here. So I'm grabbing for these imaginary levers in front of me. And as I straighten my leg, I'm going to pull the levers back, squeeze my shoulder blades together. So I'm inhaling, reaching for my levers, sinking into my knee. Exhaling, squeezing those shoulders. You've got it. Inhale, sink into the knee. Exhale, squeeze. We'll do one more, breathing in and breathing out. You got it. Now I'll sink into my knee. Just take my hands to my hips for a moment. So you really might feel this hip flexor, the left hip being stretched. I'm going to squeeze that left glute to support that stretch. And maybe I come to Garuda Mudra, the thumbs interlocked, my hands resting on my heart, or I could lift both arms up. So there are some options here for what feel good to you. Whatever feels right to you today. And I'm just pulling that belly towards the spine and letting time and breath do the work. Releasing the hands down onto the hips and just shortening my stance. I still have my right foot forward and my left foot back. This time the legs will be straight. I could keep my hands on my hips, or I might grab opposite forearm behind the back, if that's available to you. And with both kneecaps lifting, so my legs are engaged, I'm just going to lean the heart forward a little bit. And with every exhale, I might lean a little farther forward until I reach what feels like a nice healthy stretching sensation in the back of my right leg. You got it. So my tendency here is to really jut my chin forward. I'm going to remind myself to bring that chin in, tuck it down, so I'm lengthening the back of my neck. You've got it. And coming back up to stand. And switching sides. We'll bring that left foot forward, the right foot back at a slight angle, hips pointing forward, bending into my left knee, reaching for my imaginary levers in front of me. Breath in. As I exhale, I'm going to bring those levers back, pulling them back, squeezing the shoulder blades, straightening the knee. Reaching forward, exhaling back. Inhaling, reach, 2 more. So you can feel that we're doing so much with this movement. Coming back to our bent knee stance, squeezing that right glute muscle, taking the hands into Garuda Mudra over the heart or lifting the arms up, whatever feels good to you. Finding my breath. And when you're ready to move out of it, taking those hands to the hips, shortening the stance, both knees engaged. Maybe you grab the forearms behind the back, opposite one on top from what you did last time. And we're taking a little bow forward, chin tucked. Every exhale, you might go a little bit deeper until you feel the right amount of sensation. And then we're walking ourselves up, releasing, grabbing a little sip of water. How you guys doing? Bev, you hanging in there? Yes, 2 thumbs up from Bev. All right, so now I'm going to come to find a piece of wall. Anywhere where I can plant a hand on a wall at about shoulder height. So I'll start with my right hand, but it doesn't really matter what side you start with. So I'm planting my right hand on the wall, and this is a pec stretch, pectoralis stretch. Really invite you to weave this into your routine, especially if you have a tight chest, like I do. I'm going to take my left hand onto my heart, and I'm just going to turn a little bit to the left, away from the wall, until I feel the right amount of stretch in my right shoulder or whatever arm you're using. And I'm breathing into that. You feel that? Feels like a big stretch to me, right? So I've just turned my chest away from the wall and left my hand planted on the wall. And then we're releasing and switching sides. That might mean you turn away from your monitor, taking the left hand to the wall, right hand to the heart. The arm is straight. So maybe you move a little farther away. And then I'm just turning my body, my whole body away from the wall, away from my arm, leaving the hand planted and breathing into that. I don't know about you, but I really needed that. Releasing when you're ready to release and coming back to your mat with your feet a little wider than hip distance. I'm going to take my arms behind my back once again. Maybe you interlace the fingers or grab opposite elbows. Move the hips to one side, to the back, leaning the heart forward, to the side, and then to the front, leaning back with the heart. So we're going to make a whole circle with this motion. Circling the hips. And it doesn't have to be your full range, right? It might just be a little exploration of waking up the hips. So it's really like we've got an imaginary hula hoop that will never fall. And moving the opposite direction, you've got it. And then slowly making your way back to center. Letting the arms go, widening your stance a bit. I'm going to take my hands once again into my mudra across my heart. So the thumbs are interlaced or hooked and the hands rest. I'll point my right toe to the right and bend into my right knee. So this is a hip opening posture here. So I'm bending and straightening into my right knee. That knee is over my ankle or ish, whatever feels stable to you. And notice how you want to turn your body towards the knee. Keep the torso pointed towards me, or pointed, where the hands are on the heart. Right? That's right, Daniel. So heart is facing me while the knee bends. We get this nice hip stretch, nice inner thigh stretch here. And then I'm going to stay with my knee bent. I'll just bring my left hand down to the back of my left leg here. And the right arm is going to reach up and maybe back a little bit. Big breath in. Exhale, bring that arm down, straighten that front knee. Inhale, bend the knee, lift the hand, lift that right arm. Reverse warrior. Exhale, hand coming down, straightening the knee. We'll do one more. So you can really feel we're getting a lot of stretching of the side body, those little intercostal muscles. All right, let's switch sides. So I'm going to take my left toes to the left, take my Garuda Mudra over the heart. So this reminds me to keep my torso facing forward. Left toes to the left, bending and straightening into that left knee a few times. So I'm getting a stretch here for my hips. I'm breathing. That's good, Betty Ann. And then I'll stay with my knee bent, only as far as feels stable to you. I'll take my right hand down my right knee, my right leg, and the left arm can lift up and maybe back a little bit. Bringing the arm down, straightening that left knee. Inhale, reach up, bend the knee. Exhale, come down. Reverse warrior flow. And you can always make any of this your own. If there's something else your body is calling to do. Very good. Let's come back, pointing all 10 toes in the same direction now, maybe shortening the stance a little bit, so not quite as wide. I'll take my hands to my thighs, take a bow, slowly fold forward into my wide-legged forward fold. I'm going to keep my head lifted if I have glaucoma or vertigo. Otherwise, perhaps I can continue to fold as far as feels good to me. Maybe really letting the head hang here. When you're ready to come up, walking yourself up safely, carefully, if you get dizzy easily. And then I'll walk my feet back to about hip distance apart. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little fun, inspired by Mark Wild's class, where we were doing curtsies. And I realized when we're doing a curtsy with one foot behind, we're really stretching this whole chain of muscles that's all attached to the diaphragm, right? So it's the quadratus lumborum, it's the psoas muscle, all of the muscles between the ribs. So let's practice. We'll just start with the hands on the hips. And I'm going to bring my weight over into my right foot and just step the left foot behind me. Come back to center. Step the right foot behind, just the toe on the earth, the heel lifted. So stepping from side to side in just a leg curtsy. I still get a bit of a stretch here. Just want to feel good in this movement. You might want to add lifting one arm. So if I'm stepping back with my left foot, my left arm is lifting. So the side that's stepping back is the arm that's lifting. I'm going to call this a Krishna curtsy. Okay, so now I'm going to add one more layer of lifting both arms, stepping one foot back, coming back to center, lifting both arms, stepping the other foot back. So maybe the fingertips touch at the top. Breathing in, stepping back. Maybe you sink down a little lower, have a little fun with it. Really nice, guys. Maybe it's just a tiny little curtsy. Doesn't have to be anything big and swooping and dramatic. Really nice. I love seeing these curtsies. Last one. Really good stretch for those deeper muscles. Okay, little wider stance. This will be our last standing pose, and then we'll start to wind down. So I've got a little bit of a wider stance. Little bendy knees, both knees bent. I'm going to bring the weight over to my right leg and kick my left leg up. Come back to center, sinking down. Weight to the left, kick the right leg up. So I'm squatting and lifting. The arms might want to come with you. So really feeling this, the side glute muscles working here. And maybe that leg doesn't even have to come off the ground. I'm breathing in, breathing out, bending my knees at center. You got it. Beautiful. Last one on each side. Okay. Beautiful. Come to a little sip of water. And then however feels best for you to come to sit. Sitting on the earth is so good for our core strength. All of these muscles I'm using right now to stay seated and stay lifted are also muscles I use in breathing that are attached to the diaphragm. So I'm just going to take 5 breaths here. Whatever feels good with the arms, you could leave them at the sides. You could use them to hold yourself up behind the shoulders if that feels necessary, because I would rather that you don't round your back here. So if you need support, go for it. And we're just taking 5 breaths in a row. Maybe it's an inhale through the nose, an exhale through pursed lips, whatever feels good. 3 more breaths. Just noticing how it feels to breathe. I am breathing. All right. Let's go ahead and lower ourselves carefully down onto the back. Make sure you have all the things you need before you get here, because we're going to move from a few stretches to our final resting shape. So grab that blanket, grab that pillow or two, and go ahead and get yourself situated, lying on the earth with the knees bent. Maybe you have a support underneath the head to begin. So I've got my knees bent, and I'm going to walk my feet out to the width of my mat, and the arms can just rest at the sides while I wash the knees from side to side. And let this be loose. Let it be luxurious, just exploring sensation. Very good. Come on back to center. Walk the feet a little closer. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee and reaching up through the window of the legs. I'll grab on to my left thigh or whatever is available. And I might be feeling this stretch in the outside of the right hip, keeping my right foot flexed, not pointed. I'm just taking a couple breaths here in our hip stretch, figure 4. When you're ready, bring that left foot down, and we'll keep that right leg on top of the left. This time just cross that right knee over the left knee so the knees nestle together. And I'm going to slowly drop my knees to the left side as I bring my right arm out to the right, a gentle spinal twist. Keeping that right shoulder melting into the earth. Make any changes so this feels good to you. If it feels like too much, if you've got any pain in your hips, maybe you just bring the knees together side by side, and that could feel better. I'm just letting time do the work. See if I can release a little bit of effort. And then I'm making my way back to center whenever I'm ready and switching, crossing the left ankle over the right knee, reaching up, hugging it in to whatever amount of sensation feels right for you. Maybe a stretch in the left hip. Finding my breath. Just letting it be easy. Very good. Plant the right foot down. Nestle the left knee on top of the right. Dropping the knees to the right. Unfurling the left arm to the left. Seeing if you could take a few breaths into that left side body. Slowly making your way back. Uncrossing the legs, placing both feet on the earth. Coming back to my robot arms. So I've got my arms by my sides, elbows bent, fingertips reaching towards the ceiling. And just so we know we're not taking ourselves too seriously, you might even make a little robot noise, beep boop. I'm driving my upper arms down into the earth, and I can kind of feel my heart lifting a little bit here, away from the floor. From there, I'll bring some weight into my feet, lift my hips, come to my bridge pose. And you might have a way you like to practice bridge. You might like to grab the edges of your mat, wriggle the shoulders underneath. You might like to interlace the fingers underneath the body, get a little higher. Whatever feels safe for you. It's breathing into this, lifting the hips. And when you're ready to come down, just releasing really slowly, one vertebra at a time, like you're setting a pearl necklace down onto the earth, one pearl at a time. And finally, we'll just hug those knees into the chest, rock a little bit side to side, and set up for our Shavasana pose or resting shape. So I'm going to make sure that I have the support I need. Maybe something underneath the head, maybe something underneath the knees, maybe a blanket over my body. Maybe I have an eye pillow I like to use, so just grabbing those things. Getting yourself really comfortable in your Shavasana pose. And I'm just going to offer you a little bit of sound support for this. So getting yourself nestled in to a shape that feels comfortable for you, lying on the earth, lying on the back. And maybe if you have low back issues and you don't have a support under the knees, you keep the knees bent, tent the knees towards each other with the feet wider. Coming to rest on the earth exactly as you are. Taking a big breath in. And as you exhale, let yourself soften and completely sink into that support below. Getting yourself settled in, nestled into your Shavasana. I'm breathing in, filling up my body with breath. And as I exhale slowly out, just letting the whole body drain of effort. Breathing in, softening on the exhale, breathing out. Giving myself permission to rest. Giving myself space. Letting the physical body rest. as we lay here together as a community, just resting, I want to plant a few seeds using the words of Buddhist nun Pema Chodron. Space permeates everything, she says. Things happen all the time that open up the space. This spaciousness, this wide open, unbiased, unprejudiced space is inexpressibly and fundamentally good and sound. It's like the sky. Whenever you're in a hot spot or feeling uncomfortable, whenever you're caught up and don't know what to do, you can find some place where you can go and look at the sky and experience some freshness, free of hope and fear, free of bias and prejudice, just completely open. And this is accessible to us all the time. Space permeates everything, every moment of our lives. So perhaps now you can just see in your mind's eye yourself standing in an open field, looking at the open blue sky, or maybe it's a night sky full of stars, and breathing into that space and feeling that you are all this. I am breathing. Beings everywhere know the sacred joy that lies underneath suffering. May all beings be happy. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Back into your body. Slowly, gently, carefully. Wiggling the fingers and toes, stretching if you feel ready to move. Maybe just licking the lips, swallowing. Slowly coming up to sit, if you like, or continuing to rest if you need. Maybe giving yourself a hug. This is for taking this time today to care for yourself. And we'll take the hands to heart center, close our class with one Om, connecting us all, breathing in. Om. And thanking you so much for your practice today, friends. Namaste.